What's up, guys? Coming to you with another one. Today I'm going to be fixing my kayak up. So I went ahead and went on Craigslist, bought one for less than $100. It's the off season right now because it's winter. So people really aren't charging too much for them. They're really trying to get rid of them in their garage. So what I've gone ahead and done is I painted it with a rough paint. Simple spray paint, nothing crazy. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this cover over the top of it. Bought that on Amazon for less than 20 bucks. If everything goes right, I'll be able to get this whole thing done less than 100 bucks, and it should be really effective. I used it a little bit last year and had great success with it, so I'm hoping to jump on a few things, key things I'm going to tweak, and then it should be ready to kill ducks. So I'm going to do a time lapse on top of this so that way you can see the whole process, and I'll keep checking in with you guys so that way you can see each little bit. Alright guys, so I want to show you what I'm doing here with this kayak. So first thing is I got this matting netting that's Max 4 HD, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this glue gun here with some Gorilla Glue sticks, and nothing crazy. I'm just dabbing it here and there, kind of everywhere, trying to get as much on there as I possibly can. It is going to come off. It's not going to last forever. This is merely to just work as concealment and help me out a little bit as far as breaking up the silhouette of the kayak out there in the water. I'm going to use a lot of natural vegetation and everything, and I'm going to blind it up every time I go out. And you'll see me later on adding little rubber bands and things like that to attach that natural foliage and not have to mess with what I've already done here. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and cut the middle out. I'll be able to put my backpack in there and then be able to put straps over the top of it to hold it in place. And if this does get snagged on anything for whatever reason, I'm not going to have to worry about it hanging me up, possibly capsizing me, putting me in the water when I don't want to be, essentially. Alright guys, I'm coming to you. I want to show you something here. So you see this little piece here is just a piece of tie wire. It's just wire you use to tie things like fencing and shit together. I drilled a small hole right here, shoved it through, bent them up in an L shape so they lock. Went ahead and silicone that in there. I didn't use hot glue for that, and I just took tape and taped around the edges so it doesn't hurt my gun. That's going to sit there and there. When I sit in my seat, it's going to allow me to be able to hold my gun in place, keep the barrel pointed in a safe direction, and allow me to shoulder it without much movement to my left or right side. This is not a kayak that's made for hunting, so large movements in it are riskier. You have to be very careful and distribute your weight properly. So keeping the gun in front of me at all times allows me to pull that gun up to my shoulder without having to really mess with too much movement left or right. The second half of this is going to be these pieces over here. And these pieces over here are exactly what they look like. They are Allen wrenches. It's what I had. It's what was available. What those are going to do is they're going to take that oar in front of you and they're going to hang that on the side there. Now that oar will float on its own, but I have that there so that way I don't get, I have a place to put it. It's out of the way. It's not in front of me. It's not contradicting the gun access or anything like that to where I'm going to have to fumble over things. I can put that off to the side and it'll rest there pretty well. And all I did there is I just drilled a hole and shoved it in. It was already in the shape of an L and it was nice and rigid. I don't have to worry about it bending. Whereas this has some give to it, so if I put too much pressure on it, it's going to move and bend out of place, which is going to help to not destroy the gun if anything were to go awry. Alright guys, I wanted to show you, so that's the kayak cart. I did have to buy that at full price, so that thing was actually kind of puts me over my 100 limit, but cheap can of spray paint on that, just because it's black kind of does stand out when you put it on the shore side. I went ahead and I keep a life jacket. I don't have one of the fancy ones. This one was cheap. It was easy, off Craigslist. Went ahead and spray painted that with a couple different coats. And it'll get another coat of a darker green that'll go over it. And here is close to the finished product. As we're going to get in this video, I'll end up doing a couple more things here and there to touch it up a little bit more. But overall, this is what I'm going to go out in the woods with. So people will spend so much money on a blind for their kayak and a bunch of money on a kayak, and you really don't need it. One of the biggest facades that we have as hunters is that we have to spend all this fucking money on this stuff, and we don't. It can be relatively cheap and easy to do, and there's really no need to spend a ton of money on this stuff at all. It's not necessary.
you.